The world's greatest jet ski riders, Paradise Island, and one World Championship crown. This is the big one. This is Atlantis, and this is AquaX. The P1 AquaX Bahamas World Championship at the Atlantis Paradise Island Resort is presented in part by Stolly and by Coca-Cola. Welcome to the beautiful Atlantis here on Nassau. 40 of the fittest and fastest jet ski riders from around the world have descended for the P1 AquaX Bahamas World Championship. Make no mistake, these riders are the best of the best. And if the action that we see this weekend matches up to the incredible racing that we've been watching all season, well, then we're in for something special.
It is going to be crazy. Conditions today, wind speed about 8 miles per hour, waves about 3 to 4 feet.
Joe Harvey from England. There's race number 2 is underway.
Here we go. We are off and away here for round number 3. Ooh, Baldwin catches an edge. And up go the arms for Christian Daly. Brian Baldwin moves into the lead and he takes the win.
And down he goes!
Well, this year we certainly have seen some of the closest action that AquaX has ever seen, and we're not short of contenders for taking that World Championship title this weekend. From Europe, we have the French ace Thomas Favolini. From the UK, #1 ranked rider Joe Harvey. Both have had a long journey to get here, so let's see how they're feeling ahead of qualifying. Joe, great to see you here this weekend. What are your first impressions of the race site here at the Atlantis?
Yeah, it's a nice venue. It's a bit shorter than I thought it might be, but I think it's going to make for some really mixed up, exciting racing actually. It's going to be fast, furious. There's going to be some strong winds expected the weekend. It's going to be some hard chop, and I think it's going to catch a lot of the boys out, to be honest. I think, yeah, there'll be a few crashes and a few wipeouts.
And this is a fantastic event. This is the World Finals. Riders have flown in from all around the world for this. Some of them you will have raced with before. People like Thomas Favellini, the Frenchman. He's got to be up for the Cup this weekend, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's a bit of a dark horse at the moment for me because I don't think many of the American boys know him. His ski's real fast at the moment. He's a good, solid rider. I think he'd definitely be one to watch, actually.
What do you make of the level, the standard of competition of the other riders from around the world here this weekend?
Les meilleurs sont là, c'est le championnat du monde, le niveau est au maximum.
So all the best riders are here. It's the World Championship, so the level is really high.
Well, best of luck to Thomas and Joe, but what about some of the riders who haven't travelled quite so far to get here? From North Carolina is Brian Baldwin. He's the Lucas Oil ranked world #1. He's just lifted that USA Championship title, but can he do it again and the world stage this weekend? Brian, great to see you here in the Bahamas. It is the World Finals. You won just about everything else in the past, and you've just taken that USA Championship title. Can you go one better and take the world title this weekend?
You know, we came super prepared. All these guys are really good riders, and it's going to come down to luck rather than skill, I think.
I'm sure you're doing yourself a disservice. There's a lot of skill involved in this. But the race course that we're looking at this weekend is slightly different because we're not on the ocean side. We haven't got rolling surf coming in. But I'm guessing when you all get going around this course, it's going to chop up really quickly.
Yeah, I think it's really going to get rough out there, you know, with 28 of us being on in that tight of an area. And you know, it's not going to be like the ocean, and that's another reason we chose this ski, because it's really fast.
And just looking at the caliber of riders we've got here, they've flown in from all around the world. We've got Frenchman's Thomas Favellini, we've got a rider from the UK, Joe Harvey. Are these names and riders that you've heard of before and that you're aware of?
Yeah, you know, I know they're the top guys in their countries, so you know, we're just going to go for it.
The first step on the road to lifting that world title is in qualifying. Not only will this sort out the start positions for race 1, but it will also give the riders an opportunity to gain their first valuable points of the weekend. So let's go and join Jason Stoyer and see who comes out in pole position.
All right, thank you, Kevin, as we watch the skis invade Nassau Harbor for the first time this weekend in your qualifying. I'm here with Mike Young as we look at your top 10.
Hey, Jason, here's the lowdown. We had 26 total racers from 6 different nations here with us in Nassau. Qualified them down to the top 10, and we're going to give somebody an extra 5 points.
Here we're looking at Francis taking on that course alone out there, trying to set the fast lap for the weekend, coming up in 5th. And now Brian Baldwin, the 5:02 out of North Carolina, also taking on that track as all these riders racing against the clock, trying to get those 5 points that we've all talked about.
You know, Brian, a factory Riva racer, and he's definitely going to set the bar up for this next gentleman that'll be taking the track. As we take a look at Baldwin right here, checkered flag comes out, and this is his arch rival right here, the Mac Attack, Chris McCluggage. Again, Brian racing for Riva Racing, McCluggage representing Broward Motorsports out here this weekend.
Broward Motorsports already 2 in the top 5 there as you watch Chris McCluggage coming around, taking the checkered buoys right there for his time trial. And now out to the young gun, Tyler Hill on the 202 Yamaha. Tyler coming out, making it into your top 5 here and showing why he deserved to take on the course alone and earn some extra points for the weekend, Mike.
Well, I'll tell you what, he had to set the bar a little bit higher than Mac, and it looks like he just did. Tyler Hill moving into 2nd place.
Yeah, that's right. And Favellini, the flying Frenchman, coming out right now, your top qualifier, earning all 5 points going into the weekend on a beautiful machine out of Seat, France. And he made a long trip over to the World Championships in Paradise Island, and I'm sure he's happy he came now.
Well, I'll tell you, what a beautiful day to be qualifying out here, and Favellini would take home those extra 5 points. Congratulations to the flying Frenchman, Thomas Favellini. As we take a look, your top 6, Thomas Favellini over Tyler Hill, McCluggage in 3rd, Baldwin, Francis, and Lescano, and that's how it would wind up.
Wow, Mike, what a preview of things to come with less than 100th of a second separating our leader from 2nd.
Well, the Atlantis Paradise Island really must be one of the most staggering locations that AquaX has ever held an event at. And on Friday night after qualifying, the resort laid on a party and drinks reception to welcome the riders and teams and show off a touch of that bohemian hospitality that this part of the world is famous for. So as the scene down there at the waterfront is, you know, it's one of the best we've ever seen logistically. It's a great location.
Definitely. I mean, the infrastructure that the Atlantis has put into this event is incredible. I mean, look at the grandstands. If you look at the VIP sections on a raised platform looking down on the race course, and then the pit area, I mean, it's almost like this harbor was built for Aquacross. So we're excited. The racing is going to be epic this current weekend, so let's see who takes the top spot.
Audrey, what was it about Aquacross that you thought we want that here at the Atlantis?
Well, the waters here in the Bahamas are absolutely spectacular. We have over 5 miles of beautiful beaches here at Atlantis, and we thought what better setting could there be for racing in the water? So a beautiful backdrop outside and inside excited us about the opportunity.
Great to meet you this evening, Tyrone. Just give us a little word about the event here tonight. What's going on here tonight?
Well, we're welcoming this group. You could hear the calypso music in the background, the smiling faces. And the thing about the Bahamas is the hospitality is what makes the Bahamas the Bahamas.
After a relaxed atmosphere and the fun of the welcome reception, things are about to get serious as we wake up on day 2 and it's time to go racing. Time to join your commentators then, Mikey Young and Jason Stoyer.
Hey, thanks, Kevin. Things have taken a turn for the worse. And speaking of turns, let's take a look at our course for our P1 Aquacross Bahamas World Championship. 12 total course markers out here. But Jason, one of the things that folks need to know that this is a much smaller course, even though we have 12 markers out there, as we're restricted here at Nassau Harbor.
Yeah, that's right. A little bit tighter, but at the same time, with all those inside turns, it's going to be like a washing machine out here, Mike. As you can see the weather on the screen, not looking too clear out there as we go ahead and get that start and head straight east on our race course. It's a drag strip shootout for that first position in the first turn, Mike.
Well, I'll tell you, you can actually just see how nasty it is out there. And could you imagine being out there? I'm sure that these guys are using Rain-X today.
Yeah, way to say it, Mike. As they charge, it's really hard to see who's going to grab this whole shot out there. All these riders trying to make it down to the end of the track as we go on board with Eric Francis, and you can really see tough conditions and visibility definitely a factor out here today.
Yeah, Francis vying to grab that whole shot. Let's take a look at what happened to Tyler Hill. Tyler got up in the mix, headed toward that first turn, and boom, off the boat. Tyler having to climb back on his boat. Looks like he may have lost his lanyard too, Jason, as you see the other riders flying by.
Yeah, nobody stopping to offer a hand as Tyler tries to get that boat restarted as we now look on the back part of your race course, and this is the battle for first.
Yeah, your battle for first right now being won by the Eagle, Eric Francis. I'm sure he would like to land here in the Bahamas. Juan Descano back there in that second place. That's a surprise. And the champion from Europe, Thomas Favellini, on his SVHO in third.
Yeah, and how about it? We also have the Mac Attack still in the top 10 right now as all these riders trying to sort it out as they go through the checkered flag. We're going to know more about each rider as the laps go on.
Well, Jay, let's take a look and see what happened to Chris McCluggage. It looks like he's going fine, Uh-oh, looks over, and as he looks over, look at this, lost his lanyard, and that is going to cost him several positions. Now, we've seen Chris come back from moments like this before, but will he be able to do it here in the Bahamas?
No problem for his teammate, Eric Francis, as he's out front dealing with water conditions, but no riders in front of him.
Well, I'll tell you, Eric's got to have a little chip on his shoulder. Not only did he lose his world points title, but he also lost the national championship to Brian Baldwin.
Eric Francis coming out here, maybe a little bit of redemption this weekend, and right now sitting pretty and looking good as we go on board, and you can really see the conditions out here today are tough, Mike.
Yeah, Eric already coming up on the rear of the pack as we go on board right now with Brian Baldwin. Baldwin currently up in the top 5 right now as you see him carving it up out there like a Thanksgiving Day turkey.
Mike, I can definitely tell you that Baldwin is one of the fastest riders out there, and if he's dealing with a little bit of chop, you know that the conditions are not favorable for speed right now.
Yeah, Brian Baldwin, one of the factory Riva racers, comes to us out of Denver, North Carolina, and again, going back on board with him, you can see just what he's got to deal with here, and it doesn't look pretty.
And he's taking it tight to those buoys as well. Even in these conditions, Brian Baldwin not afraid to lay down the best speed that he can. As we now look at Chris the Mac Attack McCluggage, looks like he's got that lanyard back on, and he's got some work to do, Mike. He's got to sort his way up this pack to get the finish that he always is known for.
You know, as we were taking a look at the leaderboard, I would say biggest surprise right now as the white flag comes out, Sophie Francis currently sitting in 4th.
Yeah, Sophie Francis, we go on board with her. You can see the bright red gloves and the graphics and everything on that boat looking good as she's managing to keep speed and stay up there with the boys and definitely tearing it up as the 911 of Eric Francis looking back, going to go ahead and come around and take that black and white checkered flag. What a great moto for Francis.
I'll tell you, a little redemption there for the Broward Motorsports team as he points down at the logo and lets the crowd know that he is #1 here in race #1. Congratulations, Eric Francis. Well deserved, my friend.
And looking for your 2nd and 3rd place riders to make their way through. Looks like I saw Baldwin in the mix there, as I'm sure we're going to get your standings right now.
All right, well, let's take a look at the top 6. You got Eric Francis up top, Baldwin, McCluggage, Sophie Francis in 4th, Chris Saxon in 5th, and the Carvin Kaymanian, Vanjie Ramjeet in 6th.
And here's a live look at Francis as he celebrates a victory in our first race. And how about it for Paradise Island in beautiful Bahamas, Mike?
Well, let's take a look at the points. This includes the qualifier from Friday. Francis in 1st, Baldwin in 2nd, McCluggage in 3rd, Hill in 4th.
Well, after some testing conditions out there on the water, it was Eric Francis who took the win, and a huge congratulations to him. But the weather is the overall winner today. The organisers have decided to call a halt to proceedings, and we'll come back fresh and ready to go for day 2. Welcome back to the Atlantis Resort here on Paradise Island in the Bahamas. And it's a case today of what a difference a day makes. Yesterday, under some pretty testing conditions, it was Eric Francis who took the win. And today, there are 2 races to go to decide who will be the 2019 World Aquacross Champion. Let's find out then what Eric's thinking this morning.
Yesterday was a nice confident booster, let us know that we definitely deserve to be here. We had a great hole shot. The conditions worked good for us. We were able to keep a real fast pace out there and pull off a moto win. I mean, we did have pressure from Fablioni and Baldwin, so it wasn't easy, but ended up working out in our favor. Last night, the guys pulled out the engines. They went and double-checked every hose clamp, checked the drive couplers, the biscuits. Those are the little rubber dampers inside the ski. So they went through every little detail just to make sure the ski was perfect today, and we're sure hoping that makes a difference and put us out front again.
Well, a confident-sounding Eric Francis there, but let's see if now he can convert that confidence into a race win as we head on out to the start line.
Oh, I got a feeling so right. Baby, there's a party between us tonight. You show me your body.
All right, well, conditions today a lot different than yesterday. Again, 12 markers on the course. The course a little bit shorter than what we're used to, 1.6 miles, and only a 3/4 of a mile run-up here for our start, which is very odd for these guys because normally they get a mile or even a little bit more.
The track is definitely tighter, but as you look on board right now, we got a live shot of, looks like it could be Favolini as they're lining up out there. Conditions are much better today. As you can see, a little bit of chop on the water, probably about 15-mile-an-hour wind, Mike, but nothing like yesterday as it looks like they're going to line them up and try to get us underway.
Yeah, you know, you were talking about Thomas Favolini, the Flying Frenchman, the champion from France. Looking to have a better race than he had that first race. Actually had a mechanical issue that first race as we go on board with Thomas right now.
Thomas looking good and strong right now, looks focused as we also see Chris McCluggage from his visor on top of the helmet. As you can see, cruise ships and a lot of boats in your way, Mike. It's confusion out there.
Yeah, it looked like Chris Saxon and McCluggage just got together. Great overhead shot here from the Green Flight crew. Beautiful, beautiful day here at Nassau Bay.
And coming back straight at us now on the back part of the course, it looks like it could be Favolini, the Flying Frenchman, coming all the way over here to the Bahamas. And as you said before, a little bit of boat problems yesterday, but right now a hole shot as what? A battle for second, Mike?
Oh, yeah, big battle for second place right now. And I believe that was Eric Lagopoulos and Juan Lescano getting the worst of that exchange as we go on board with McCluggage, and McCluggage, again, not getting the start that he wanted.
Yeah, McCluggage looking like he's having a lot of problems getting through all these riders out here. As we said, maybe a little bit tight or more technical course than they're used to. So McCluggage there going wide, trying to find clean water, Mike.
Jason, looks like he also received a little bit of pump wash courtesy of Eric Lagopoulos as we go back on board here, taking a look at your leader with Thomas Favellini and the Flying Frenchman doing that right now, just flying around that course.
5 minutes have gone by so far, but Favellini, it probably feels like an eternity as you see the pink helmet of Lagopoulos. That's your difference between first and second. And on board with Chris the Mac Attack McCluggage, riding for Broward Motorsports.
You know, and McCluggage trying to chase down Lagopoulos. Lagopoulos actually on that new 2020 Yamaha, and he's one of only 2 riders to have it here this weekend.
Yeah, and Eric Francis right there in the mix as well. All this battle for third place going on right now. As you can see, conditions so much better, but the riders still dealing with each other's pump wash, as you said earlier. And Favellini, I mean, you can see him bouncing around out there, Mike. It looks beautiful, but no time to stop and look at the scenery.
You know, and you can see a lot of the island here as we go with Michelle Colasanto right there, along with Daniel Fialo. They're battling it out, but you can see just how tight this course is, and a lot more course markers than these guys are used to.
Now it looks like we're going to be watching Chris McCluggage, who is going to get by Eric Lagopoulos. Eric Lagopoulos dropping down a little bit, or Chris McCluggage on the gas, and back to the 287 of Favellini.
You know, when you go to the battle of the manufacturers right now, your top 3 still all on Yamahas. They might be on different teams, but all on Yamahas.
And also Broward Motorsports, that's Chris McCluggage right there. They've got a strong contingency out here with a lot of the top riders in the top 10 coming from just across to Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas.
Looking through the lenses right now of Chris McCluggage, who is sponsored by Monster Energy as well as Broward Motorsports. He is trying to chase down Eric Francis now. Francis currently in second. You still got Favellini in the lead.
Yeah, so teammates battling up on the Frenchman, but Favellini still with 10 laps in the books. And there's Francis looking back as we're on board with Chris McCluggage here. This is a replay as you see. Oh, man, that was tight, Mike.
Boy, I'll tell you, Chris did an amazing job being able to avoid an incident right there as we go back out to our leaders.
Favellini still in first, Francis in second, and the Mac Attack in third place. And anything can happen, as you know, in P1 Aquacross as we look at Eric Francis, who's trying to hunt down Favellini as we speak.
Yeah, speaking of Thomas Favellini, here we go back on board with Thomas, and you can see just how rough things are out there, Jay.
Favellini on that bright white and blue boat, as we also look at another bright white and blue boat with the lookover from Brian Baldwin riding for Riva Yamaha.
Riva Racing sponsoring Brian this year, as Brian trying to chase down the rest of the pack, currently sitting in that 4th place position.
And yeah, now on the back part of the course, that is your leader looking back, trying to find out maybe where Eric Francis was, but there he is coming, charging the 911.
I don't know, Jay. Favellini looks like he might have some engine problems. Uh-oh, this could spell disaster for the Frenchman.
Yeah, hand on the helmet is never a good thing. That means, oh yeah, definitely something wrong under the hood. So Favellini, I'm not sure what it's going to do for his overall, but man, what a great race up to this point, Mike.
Well, I'll tell you, you know, you got to race all the way through that checker, and you can see how frustrated he is right now as your new race leader, the Eagle, flies by.
Favellini, what a look of disappointment. You can see it right through the goggles. He's slapping the boat. There's nothing he can do, Mike, other than kind of let other riders go by, and that rider is the 911 of Eric Francis, which means McCluggage is moving up to second. Everybody's moving up.
Well, again, there comes the white flag. We are on the last lap, and Francis in control of his own destiny here. Again, taking a win in race number 1, and I'm sure he would like to back it up for the Broward Motorsports team.
Yeah, as he looks over to the sideline, once again, going to put a number 1 in the air and thank Broward Motorsports, the 911, able to take our 2nd race win, Mike.
That has got to be one happy racer. Let's take a look at the results. Your top 6. In first place, it was Francis, followed by his teammate McCluggage, Brian Baldwin in 3rd, Chris Saxon in 4th, Vanjie Ramjeet in 5th, and Tyler Hill in 6th.
Fantastic stuff, mate. 2 from 2. That was a bit of a surprise, though, that one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, a couple people were up front that we weren't expecting, like Lagopoulos. Favellini had an awesome pace.
Wow.
I knew I didn't have to beat him, so I just stayed real close to him. Unfortunately, he had a mechanical problem, so put me in a pretty spot to win. So 2 wins, man, I'll take it however I can get it.
Well, let's take a look at the points. Francis in 1st, Cluggage in 2nd, Baldwin in 3rd, Hill in 4th.
Well, how about that? Another win and another 25 points for number 911, Eric Francis. There's one more to go for him on the weekend. Can he make it 3 from 3? When we come back, though, after the break, we'll join the first bout of action in the pro sprints. Welcome back to Nassau Harbour Beach, where, as you can see, there is lots going on. We've already had 2 fantastic pro enduro races where the action was exactly as we'd expect. But they're not the only class running here this weekend. The Pro Sprint stand-up skis are also fighting out for a World Championship title. And one man that you can fully expect to see running at the front is the guy with the golden boots, number 72, Johnny Smith. What do you think you got to do to be number 1 this weekend?
It's looking good. I think the game this weekend, though, is going to be consistency. It's a 4-moto format, and we're actually also doing a qualifier, which you get points in that. So charge hard in your qualifier and just be consistent out there, because one mistake could take you out of all 4 motos.
The location here at the Atlantis is quite spectacular as well, Johnny. You had a chance to look around yet?
Oh, this place is amazing. I got here yesterday, and me and my wife and family got to walk around. The Atlantis is beautiful. We're here racing jet skis, enjoying life while you guys put in the hard work for us. Thanks for everything, Atlantis and P1.
Well, best of luck to Johnny Smith. One thing that the Atlantis has done a fantastic job of this year is organising the facilities for the riders. Just behind me is the shaded pit area where they're all working on their skis. And one lady who's enjoying a little bit of that shade right now, because she's travelled a long way to be here, is number 41, Molly Fern. Molly, great to see you here this weekend. Have you had a chance to get out on the ski yet?
Yeah, we took the boat for a run yesterday. Everything's perfect, so I'm looking forward to the qualifying session today, and hope that the weather stays like this.
What are your hopes for this weekend then, Molly?
I'm here for the win. I'm here for the World Championship. Obviously I'd be happy with the podium, but the number 1 spot is what I really want.
Well, best of luck to Molly. She's had a long journey getting here, so let's find out if it's all been worthwhile as we head on out to the start for race 1.
Well, the course for the sprint racing going to be a little bit different than our endurance. A lot tighter, more of a Grand Prix style course. We've got 10 course markers out there. It's an 8/10 of a mile course, and let's get to it, Jay.
Yeah, the sprint skis, your stand-ups, running the 4 strokes, you guys can see they have no problem. Plenty of room and size in these stand-ups, but still a difficult race out there for stand-ups in choppy conditions, Mike, as it looks like we've got them lined up now, and we're looking for a start.
Well, you know, one of the things I noticed a little different here is the green flag flies. This was actually a rolling start. It was not a beach start.
Yeah, the sprint class, and it looked like the 53 of Robinson out there on the water. What a great start that was as they all dragged straight out right down the front straightaway. Looks evenly matched, Mike.
Paul and Harry Robinson out of Great Britain grabbing that hole shot. And right behind Robinson, looks like he's got a battle right now. You've seen through the lenses there, Johnny Smith. Johnny currently sitting in that 3rd spot. Still looking for that 2nd place position, Jay.
Yeah, and it looks like the flying Moroccan, Mo Salih, able to take that first line through the checkered flag. So technically your whole shot for our race number 1 as we go on board with Molly Fern. A little bit of a problem with the buoy there, Mike.
Yeah, it looked like she got up close and personal with that buoy. Molly, our only female out here racing in the sprint class this weekend.
Beautiful conditions out here for stand-up racing as we go on board with Mo Salih and riding for Kawasaki out there as he makes a left-hand turn, and nobody in front, just clean water, Mike. Hold on. How many minutes left to go?
Well, I'll tell you, Mo doing a great job back in Tavares, the final race of the P1 Aquacross Series, as we go on board with Simon Gill. And Simon is, I believe, Great Britain's best chance at a world title here this weekend.
Yeah, but he's going to have to contend with Johnny Smith and Molly Fern right behind those 2 riders. So that looks to be your top 4 out of the 6 riders that came all the way here to the World Championships in Paradise Island.
Ideal conditions today for all of these sprint riders. As you can see, the flying Moroccan right there staying hugged up tight to that water, keeping that pump hooked up.
basically racing himself right now as Simon Gilly coming in on the 41 of Molly Fern. So looks like Simon also back in 4th place right now. So the lead, not a problem, but 2nd, 3rd, and 4th pretty mixed up, Mike.
Once again, taking a look through the lenses there of Molly Fern, and things starting to chop up here in Nassau Bay.
Yeah, on the backside of the course, we're going to look on board with, from the United States, Johnny Smith on the 72 Kawasaki. And Johnny Smith been on the tour for years and quite a star on the P1 Aquacross Series, earning him a chance to come down here for a world title.
Johnny Smith, always one of the nicest riders in the pits, as we get a great overhead shot of Nassau Bay right there. You can see just what a beautiful day, what a beautiful bay it is as the checkered flag flies here in the Bahamas.
The sprint class a little bit quicker than Enduro, but no problem for Mo, the flying Moroccan, Mo Salih, and here it is.
Well, Mo taking that 1st place position. He was followed by Johnny Smith, Molly Fern, Simon Gill, Hall and Harry Robinson, and Stephen Kumstock. After qualifying and also including that first pro sprint race, let's take a look and see how the points are. In 1st place, it's Mo Salih, followed by Johnny Smith, Molly Fern, Simon Gill, Harry Robinson, and Stephen Kumstock in 6th.
Fantastic race for you there. First one of the weekend, and you won it flag to flag. You must be buzzing.
I'm shaking, to be honest. I've been not practicing for the last 2 or 3 months. I'm still surprised that I finished first, to be honest. But thank you, guys. This is one of the best races I've ever seen in my life so far. Thank you so much, guys. I'm so excited to race Moto 2, Moto 3. See you guys out there. Thank you.
The wind has started to pick up, and it could be a factor in races 2 and 3 that will decide the outcome of this world title fight. Mo Salih took the win in the first one. Can he do it again in the next couple? Let's find out as we go and join your race commentators, Mikey and Jason.
Baby, there's a party between us tonight. You show me your body, you show me your soul.
Back again for a live look at your course map. The sprint course a little bit smaller than Enduro, with just over 10 buoys out there as they come around and make their way back to the front. And it's going to be an exciting course, Mike, as we've got 6 riders out there ready to go.
Yeah, it looks like we're just about ready to drop the flag here in race number 2. There we go. We are green flag racing as we take a look out through the lenses of the flying Moroccan, Mo Salih.
Yeah, looks like Mo maybe possibly going to get a hole shot here. We're on board, and all we can see is what he's looking in front of him. But what's that? The 23 of Simon Gill. How about that pass on the outside, Mike?
Boy, I'll tell you, that was close, and I'll tell you, a lot of respect between these riders as we take a look once again at Molly Fern. This was Molly's start right here, not having the best of starts as you see her go down, and unfortunately, that wasn't for a drink of water.
These stand-ups way more difficult than the Enduro in terms of balance, and when something does go wrong and you lose engine power, not a lot of stability compared to a sit-down Enduro model. So how about if Molly Fern, as we look at the 23 of Simon Gill, able to get out front early, Mike?
Jason, one of the things I've noticed as we see the checkered flag, Gill going to go ahead and take the win, but all of these riders that we're seeing here this weekend in the pro sprint class are all on Kawasaki SXRs.
Yeah, that's right. The SXR 1500 dominating the top 5 in your race 2 results.
And your race 2 results include Gill, Smith, Fern, 1, 2, and 3. Now let's take a look at the points after race number 2. You got Johnny Smith for the United States up on top, Gill in 2nd from Great Britain, and Mo Salih from Morocco in 3rd.
Really turning into a battle here as we're going to go ahead and look at Pro Sprint Race 3 as they get started, ready to line them up on the back straightaway to entrance into our sprint course. We call it a smaller course, but a lot of technical and still a big size course. I'll tell you, 10 minutes on a stand-up has got to be equal to 30 minutes on a sit-down, Mike.
Well, I'll tell you, you could see that the Bohemian flag was at full mast there. Conditions have changed a little bit, and that's going to make it a little tougher for all your racers out there.
Drag strip on the back straightaway as we enter in. You're on board with Mo Salih. He's probably sitting about 3rd. That looks to be the 72 of Johnny Smith on his left, and the 23 once again with the hole shot, Simon Gill.
Well, Jay, I don't know if you've seen that, but Simon Gill actually having to duck under that buoy right there. I'm not sure if it lost the counterweight or what the issue was.
Simon Gill, if he can just hang on now, obviously, 1 point behind Johnny Smith for the weekend, and I think a first place will do it. As you look at the technical skill taken by these riders in the stand-up class, looks like he was dancing on a dance floor in that tray, Mike.
Jay, you've been riding skis for a long time, been a competitor for a long time. Tell us just how tough it is, especially in these kind of conditions.
Yeah, these conditions, they don't look like big waves out here, but when you're on a stand-up, they can come over the bow really, really easy, and it takes balance, coordination, and a lot of planning. And speaking of planning, how about the replay here? And this was your drag race at the start for the 23, the 72, and the Flying Moroccan on the right-hand side.
Simon Gill looking really strong right there. You can see how solid he was, not hesitating whatsoever out of that start. Back to our leader.
As you watch him on the course, we can't talk enough about Johnny Smith in second place, Mr. Consistency this weekend, coming out here after recently losing his father and really doing a great job and showing a lot of respect for his dad.
That's right. You know Smitty's watching over him right now as we go back on board right now with the Flying Moroccan, and he's watching Gill out in front of him.
Yeah, 10 minutes on a stand-up will go by pretty fast as Johnny Smith takes a little bit of a nosedive there. As we talked, even the most experienced riders, this is challenging out here, Mike, but it sure is exciting.
You know, Johnny Smith also bringing a master mechanic down all the way from Cleveland, Ohio, Matt Doss, who's been hanging out with us in the pits all weekend long.
Yeah, and Mo Saleh sitting in third right now. Not sure on the points. We'll have to look at the overalls as it's not a crapshoot because Simon Gillies out front, so second and third may be a little bit questionable about where they're all going to fall when it's done.
Well, I'm sure Simon would like to take that trophy back to Great Britain with him. And speaking of Great Britain, there's Holland Harry Robinson.
The riders that came out for the sprint class are true world-class athletes, and you're watching on board with Johnny Smith, and we've said it once or twice, 10 minutes on a stand-up is true endurance racing out here, Mike.
Yeah, I'll tell you, these guys doing a great job. Again, a series of turns here, 10 different course markers. Again, we talked about it being an eighth of a mile long, and Simon Gill is currently taming that track.
Yeah, you know, he doesn't look tired. Simon Gill, not the youngest rider out there, but showing tremendous skill, tremendous speed, looking around on the course, making sure he's clear as he takes that black and white checkered flag, and that's going to do it. That should be your overall winner, Simon Gill.
You can tell he's pretty stoked out there to have taken the win here in the Bahamas. Let's take a look at your top 6 for race number 3. That is Simon Gill out in front, Johnny Smith in second, Robinson in third, Saleh, Fern, and Kumstock round out your top 6.
You were supremely confident when we did this about an hour ago after the second race. You said you're going to do it. It was in the bag, and it was.
Yeah, I knew we'd do it. We had a bit of a mishap, like I said, in the first one this morning.
And you got about a 20-second lead come the end of the race, and you were just linking up turn to turn to turn. You found your rhythm.
Yeah, it's quite nice in these conditions. Shame it wasn't maybe 4 or 5 foot waves, but what we got is brilliant. And thanks to AquaX for putting on an amazing event, the Bahamas, Atlantis, otherwise we wouldn't be here.
Well, after a great weekend of racing, this is how it shook out. It was tight up top, only 1 point separating first and second place. Gill took the win over Johnny Smith, Molly Fern in third. And if you're wondering about Mo, he suffered a technical infraction.
Well, fantastic action in both of those motos there. But in the end, what a worthy champion. Number 23, Simon Gill from the UK, a multiple national title holder, now adding the world title to his collection. Join us after the break when we'll be crowning the World Enduro Champion. The P1 AquaX Bahamas World Championship at the Atlantis Paradise Island Resort is presented in part by Stolly and by Coca-Cola. Welcome back to Paradise Island here on Nassau in the Bahamas, standing just in front of the Atlantis Resort. We have had 2 AquaX Pro Enduro races already, and this final one is the big one. Eric Francis has won the first 2. Can he win the last one, and can he lift the 2019 world title? We'll find out, but I'll tell you this much, there's a whole lot of riders out there who will want to spoil his party. They are all going to be going for it in this final race. So let's go and join your commentators, Mikey Young and Jason Stoyer.
And here's a look at your course for race number 3. As you start out from the pits, you're going to make those 2 turns, head all the way east into our roundabout and through our back straightaway. And then as they get up close and technical with all our fans and venue right up here in the front turns.
Well, I'll tell you, you couldn't have asked for a more beautiful day to be here at Atlantis on Paradise Island. Here we go with the start of Pro Enduro race number 3, Jay.
Yeah, here in the harbor, conditions a little bit easier for our starts as you watch your course marshal looking down the line, trying to get them lined up, Mike. This is moving water, and we got to get some resemblance of a line as we go on board with Brian Baldwin.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little resembles kind of like herding cats, but looks like we've got the green flag, we've got the go-ahead, and here we go, race number 3.
Looking for an early leader. That could be the 911. I'm not sure. Yes, we're on board with Eric Francis. Looks like he's looking to his right, but he's got the inside race line, Mike, and it's a race to that first left turn.
Boy, Jay, you got that right. It's a mad dash here to turn number 1. And take a look through the lens. Oh, Sophie Francis receiving some pump wash right there. But it looked like Lagopoulos actually had a pretty good start here on that new Yamaha.
Yeah, that is Lagopoulos out front on that 2020 Yamaha with the bright pink helmet. And look at the clean water behind him.
Yeah, Lagopoulos already out to a couple second lead over second place. And right now, looks like there's a big battle heating up for second place. Coming up on the inside, there's Francis. Francis flanked to his right, the slugger, Troy Snyder, out of Bradenton, Florida, up there in that third place position right now as we take a look at Francis once again. And Francis, I'm sure, would like to go 3 for 3 this weekend.
Francis dealing with that, and now he's got to deal with Lagopoulos, who is out front, and this is your battle for first, Mike. Eric Lagopoulos able to take a hole shot, and can he hang on?
It's going to be tough as well. We take a look at the replay there of the start, and it looked like Brian Baldwin did not get the start that he wanted.
Yeah, Brian Baldwin having to deal with maybe boat problems. Maybe it was the riders in front crossing over, but Baldwin certainly not on the hunt pack there for our lead on that first start.
Well, I'm sure we'll see him. It's not how you start, it's how you finish when that checker drops, and I'm sure Baldwin will be up there. Another great battle going on here in the pack as we are taming the seas here in the Bahamas.
Yeah, and your 1, 2, 3 Favellini back in the mix after getting that boat back on the course. Francis in second, and still your leader, the 361 out of Bradenton, Florida, Eric Lagopoulos.
Brian Baldwin trying to work his way through the pack right now. He's got Sophie Francis he's contending with, and you can see they are nose to the back of the deck right now. Nose to stern, I guess I should say, as we go back on board here, and you can take a look at the replay of just how close that was.
Close wasn't the word for it, Mike. And now back out on the race course, Lagopoulos in first, Francis in second, and Favellini in third. McCluggage still up there in your top 5.
Well, I'll tell you, the big surprise right here has got to be Lagopoulos. Now, Lagopoulos actually hit the podium back in Michigan City a little earlier this year in the United States.
Yeah, and Tyler Hill also in the mix on the 202 Yamaha. Looks like he's looking around, Mike. Maybe a problem with the boat there, and other riders able to get by, or just letting faster riders on the course take a lead.
Well, I'll tell you, Tyler Hill's had some struggles this weekend. Obviously, coming off his boat that first race really hurt him with the points.
Yeah, and still your leader, looking back, Eric Lagopoulos, a seasoned rider, and he knows what he's got to do as we look on board with Sophie Francis, also maybe having some boat problems. So this Moto3, a 2 test of endurance here today, Mike.
Well, I tell you, Sophie was doing so good this weekend. Tough break for Sophie as we take a look through the lens right now of Eric Francis, and you can see Francis trying to work his way through the pack. He is hungry this weekend.
Yeah, and that's the battle for first. Francis in second. And there, as you can see, it looks like Francis is making ground on Lagopoulos as he's getting pump washed on the right.
Oh, wow. Tough break there for Lagopoulos. Not sure if he has boat problems or what, but Francis able to move into that lead, and I'm sure that puts a smile on all our friends from Yamaha's faces.
Yeah, not a lot of math to do here, Mike. Eric Francis, if he sits out front for the rest of this race, that's a 1-1-1, known as a hat trick.
Well, I'll tell you, Francis, again, as I pointed out a little bit earlier, came into the Bahamas with a chip on his shoulder, and right now he is making it happen, Captain.
Yeah, the 911 coming around the front, maybe a little bit tired, but it's not showing right now. Eric Lagopoulos falling back a little bit in the pack. It's got to be something electrical, a problem there, as he's now battling for second, Mike.
Boy, I'll tell you, Thomas Favellini now going to give Lagopoulos fits. Favellini all over Lagopoulos' backside, and this could get very interesting. Jason, as we close in on that last lap, man, oh man, what a race.
Yeah, white flag is out. Eric Francis, you're on board looking at the possibility of 3 first places at your World Championship in Redemption. And look at the racing action. Favellini still charging out there. This is your battle for first, Mike. The action hasn't stopped.
Well, I'll tell you, doing a great job out there. Francis Favellini trying to close in on him, but the Flying Frenchman's going to have to settle for second as Eric Francis turns it into a hat trick here in the Bahamas.
Yeah, how about it for the Broward Motorsports team? And Francis, he's going to have the biggest smile on the beach tonight.
Yeah, Broward Motorsports again pulling off that hat trick here in the Bahamas. Let's take a look at your top 6 here from race number 3. Francis in first, Favellini in second, Lagopoulos in third, Landis, Baldwin, McCluggage round out your top 6.
From Atlantis, Paradise Island, Nassau in the Bahamas, taking his 3 from 3. It's not just your only medal, it is your 3rd medal of the day, sir, and you're going to pick up a huge, great trophy. You're the 2019 AquaX World Champion. How does that sound?
It's the greatest feeling. We had bad luck 2 years ago when they had a championship and dropped the valve, so it's great to come here to the Bahamas and just, annihilate the competition, get 3 moto wins, man. It's the greatest feeling there is, man.
Well, after 3 races, we all know that Francis took the big win here in the Bahamas, but it was Baldwin, McCluggage, Vanjie Ramjeet from the Cayman Islands in 4th, Saxon and Favellini round out your top 6.
So how about that as the Broward Motorsports celebrations start and will go long into the night. Chris McCluggage getting himself on the podium. Ahead of him was Brian Baldwin, and in first place, number 911, the effervescent Eric the Eagle Francis. We'll be back here at the Atlantis Paradise Island Resort in 2020, and we'd love it if you could join us. So until then, from all of us here, including myself, Kev Harris, see ya.